Okay, the war to end all wars had many lasting effects on the whole world, including setting up the world for the next World War. But we will be brief while talking about the causes of World War I. The common way to do this briefly is to look at what led to the Great War as the acronym MAIN, M-A-I-N. So we will talk about the main causes of the war, and then the event that really lit the fuse, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. MAIN stands for militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. This isn't my favorite order to deal with these in, but we will use it through the lesson to help give you a hand remembering the acronym and its meaning. Militarism is exactly what it sounds like. The beginning of the 20th century was a time of great military buildup. Germany was experiencing the greatest military growth, and its navy was beginning to rival that of Britain. This led to both nations trying to outdo the other in an arms race. This huge military buildup came at a time that war was still glorified. In many ways, nations saw war as a necessity to prove their might. This attitude is even seen in some of the uniforms worn at the beginning of the war. Check out these guys. Their outfits make them look glorious while marching into battle, but it also makes them great targets. Alliances, in theory, are a great thing. However, the many alliances found just prior to the war emboldened nations to be bolder than they should have been, and then, when their actions caused open conflict, their allies were dragged into it. Think of it like this. Russia is playing on the teeter-totter. Little Germany, who doesn't like Russia, comes over and shoves him off of the teeter-totter. The thing is, Russia's little friend France, who doesn't even like to fight, now is honor-bound to step in and help Russia out. But you see, Europe in the beginning of the 20th century was a big playground. Britain even had a friend named Japan from a completely different playground. Everyone had a lot of friends, allies. All of these alliances helped move the world to war. Imperialism is when a nation works to expand its power and influence. The two primary methods of imperialism are military conquest and political diplomacy. It isn't a far stretch to see that the powerful nations of the world scrambling to build their influence through any means necessary could lead to war. Prior to World War I, the nations of Europe were working for dominance in Africa and Asia, and the competition for the markets and materials these regions could offer was fierce. Next, nationalism. Nationalism is basically an overabundance of patriotism, and nationalism was a big part of the buildup to the war. On the one hand, nationalism fed into and was fed by imperialism. All of the nations of Europe wanted to show how awesome they were. More directly, the Slavic people in Bosnia and Herzegovina, they desire no longer to be a part of Austria-Hungary. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire was a huge group made up of many different ethnic and language groups. The nationalistic desires of one of these groups leads to the direct catalyst for the war. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is what really set off the war. The Archduke was the crowned prince of Austria-Hungary, and he and his wife were shot by a Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip. In response, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. This caused Serbia's ally, Russia, to ready for a fight. In response to this, Germany declared war on Russia. By the time all of the dominoes fell, World War I is in full swing. So, in summary, the main causes of World War I were militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. The catalyst that then started the war was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.